Okay, so I did not take any trades today, but I'm just gonna record this so I have an idea of just the daily recap here and if my model showed up or not. Like I'm trying to keep track of, if my model shows up on a day, even if I don't take that trade, so I can't do a trade recap video, I can at least do a daily recap so I can take note of when my model shows up. I want to see how often it makes itself available, right, for me to take. So today it actually presented itself two times. The first time I was in the shower, I should have stayed at the charts, but I'll be honest with you, I've had a pretty decent week so far this week. I'm 2-0, and I just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I really don't feel like losing a trade here. So even though, and I know this isn't the right mentality, so that's why I'm also making this video, but like, I don't want to lose a trade, but at the same time, if I see my model show up, I should take I should take the trade. I mean, realistically, I could have had another winning trade today because both times my model showed up, it played out in my favor today. So took either one of those and I would have made money today. So at the end of the day, just every day's a new day. If I lost yesterday, I wouldn't be sitting here worried I'd lose again. To be honest with you, I would see my model and I'd take it. So I have this thing about me right now where if I win, I'm a little bit scared of giving back those profits, which is not a terrible mindset to have, but it can definitely be a detriment, especially on days like today when my model showed up twice and both times it played out. So uh, anyway, let's just kind of go over what happened here. So obviously the daily is now bullish because we broke structure with that close yesterday, the daily close. So the daily order flow is bullish, 4-hour order flow bullish, 1-hour order flow bullish, right? So when all three of those time frames are in sync, it's high probability conditions, and obviously even more reason why I should have taken one of these trades, but it is what it is. So 15-minute also bullish. So this first one I was in the shower for again. I told you I wasn't at the charts, but I will say this fair value gap on the 15-minute, which is what I was saying was my, if I would have taken this trade, this would have counted as my higher time frame PD array, one of the confluences I need. It is very, very tiny, but nonetheless, it played out. So something to take note of. Like I get a little bit nervous about taking or using these like really small fair value gaps. I'd obviously prefer if like we use something like this, right, where we retrace back into a big fair value gap like this. But at the end of the day, it's good to see that it take note of the fact that it played out today, regardless. So, I don't even have like much of a I don't have much data backing up that nervousness that I have in those small fair value gaps versus the big ones. But I don't know, it's just something about them. But obviously, today that would have worked. And so that was the PD array, the higher time frame PD array. Then obviously the sweep is pretty clear on this trade here. Sweep of the lows, we distributed with one candle, but that was enough to break structure and form an inversion fair value gap / fair value gap. This was a really nice entry. And yeah, obviously we got triggered in and wasn't much drawdown at all. And I mean, for a 1 to 2.5, 1 to 2.5 is really, I mean, that's a solid trade. So one that we missed there. And then this one, the second one, which, I mean, this one I actually missed. This one I was at the charts, but I kind of caught it a little too late. Like I was doing, I'm doing a little bit of multitasking right now because I'm working like a part-time job sort of thing. So I'm doing a little bit of multitasking while I'm at my computer here. And so I was a little bit late to notice this, but we did a nice job of entering into this 15-minute fair value gap. Now, the drawn liquidity for this one is a little bit well, hang on. What was my draw on liquidity for this one? I guess it was just the previous high as well. So my draw on liquidity was just the previous high. This one had a little bit of equal highs formed there. And again, using a 15-minute fair value gap. Order flow, again, still bullish. Now the sweep occurred here when we swept these lows. Distribution, okay. Didn't come back into anything. But what makes me okay with entering, even after we distributed so high almost to our final take profit, was the fact that we didn't take the final take profit and we kind of just left some equal highs again. Like we engineered some liquidity here. Like if you go to the 5-minute, you'll see it a little bit nicer. How like, you know, clearly these wicks here engineering some liquidity. And this one a little bit more sketchy to me though, because we kept these equal lows here. So there's some smooth lows there. But could have entered off the inversion fair value gap here for a 1-to-1. Of course, could have also entered off of this for a little bit better risk reward, but I'm aiming, if I can, I'm going to enter off of the nearest PD array to make sure I get the entry, as long as it's a 1-to-1 or greater. Like let's say this wasn't a 1-to-1, it was like a 1-to-0.8 or something, then yeah, I would have moved it to here. But nonetheless, this one gave us a little bit of trouble, like with drawdown. You know, was consolidating near break even for a little bit there, but then we shot up. Wouldn't have had a problem with managing the trade here. This would have I would have had 3 contracts on this trade. I checked, so I would have taken like 2 off here when we took this high, and then I would have done that at the same time. But we never came back to my break even, so I would have, all 3 contracts would have been hit. And yeah, so that was the second trade that I could have taken today. So you know, I just wanted to make a video taking note of the fact that my model showed up twice today. Again, I did not take these trades, a bit of a mental block, because you know, it's Thursday, nearing the end of the week here, and I don't really want to give up any profits that I've made so far this week. But at the end of the day, I'm clearly leaving profits on the table by having that mentality. So realistically, I should be a little bit more robotic and just take the trade, you know. But there is that mental block, because I did just get back to positive on my Express account when I was down like $800 at the like peak to tro, 800 to now a little bit over break even now again. So there's that bit of a mental block where it's like, shit, I don't want my next trade to be a loss. But at the end of the day, losses happen in trading. And that's why you have to take your model whenever you see it, because at the end of the day, like today would have been another winning day. Either of these trades I took, and I would have made money. Tomorrow, I could see my model show up the same way, and instead of hitting my take profit, it hits my stop loss, right? And so that's why I have to give my model the best chance of playing out, which means I have to trade it every time I see it, especially on high probability conditions like today, where the daily, the 4-hour, the 1 hour, 15-minute, they were all in sync as far as order flow. So but yeah, something to take note of. You know, don't be too caught up in the fact that you don't want to give away profits, because I know my model's profitable, and I just need to make sure that I execute when I see it. I do that over the course of enough trades, I'm going to be profitable. So yeah.